This is askSlim Live, August 2nd, 2022. Information and support for traders and investors in a time of crisis and beyond. We can do a little legal cleanup right over here. This slide basically tells you that everything that we do is for entertainment and educational purposes only, and that for your investment decisions, you should definitely be consulting with your investment advisor. askSlim events are being held as support for our members and not included in memberships. They have been created for a time of special needs. This event is being recorded, and what we do is offer it for public viewing at times. It will be available on the website. We always act in ways to protect your identity. Still, we can't guarantee you'll be completely held anonymous, so your participation in this event acknowledges that you understand and agree. Please refer to our terms, disclaimers, and full legal information at askSlim.com. Our hosts today are me, and just want to let you know I'm still having lingering COVID effects, so I may pop in and out here. And Matt and RV. Katie couldn't be with us today, sadly. So it's the three of us, and we will do everything we can to answer the questions that you have. Today's events will be, I'm going to give a brief analysis on the stock indexes. Matt will be looking at our popular services preview, which kicks off on August 5th. It's an open house on many of our most popular premium services. You can see details of this fantastic opportunity, especially great for free members, level 1 and 2. So you will have this opportunity to see things that you don't normally see at your membership level. So that'll be great. And Matt may have some other surprises for you also. And then we will, in our express round, open it up for questions on trade planning, chart analysis, trading issues. The floor will be yours at that time. All right, so we're going to get into the discussion of the stock market. Reminder, if you have any questions about the analysis, please put that in the Q&A. We're going to be running here about 45 minutes to an hour, so we may cut off the questions a little bit on the early side today. Let's just talk a moment about the stock market. A few things to mention, that is the stock market today really looked like it wanted to go down. Cyclically, it was at a time where it seemed like it was the right thing for there to be a correction. But I'm telling you, the buyers are there in the market, and they were really fighting it today, where there was an early decline based on Pelosi visiting Taiwan and the threats out of China. And then, oddly, at the same time that this report came out that China banned snacks from Taiwan, all of a sudden the market exploded to the upside. It went from like down 30 to up 20. I mean, it must have been, if that's the big response, we're going to ban their snacks, we better buy everything. And that's maybe it was a crazy timing, but that's what happened. So they could probably live without the Taiwan snacks. So that was the timing. And then all of a sudden the market started to realize that, well, that's probably not really the response. Though the response is probably not going to be anything drastic. Still, China can't look weak. And the concern is what would happen overnight. And the market grudgingly went down and then finally sold off at the close to finish around the lows. But it was really a market that cyclically needed to correct. And the conditions of the market were such that the buyers are still there. And the market is quite strong. I'll show you the market monitor in a moment, and you'll see what the conditions are. So that's really the issue. Second thing I want to mention is for those of you that are level 2, 3, and 4, you probably got a notification, or you did get a notification. You probably saw it, that I put up a special video on the bigger picture of the stock market, comparing the past bear markets. I had unbelievably great response to that. And for those of you that are free members or level 1, after that was put up, we then put up a one with commercials on it, promotions up on YouTube. So you can see that on YouTube if you have not yet seen it. Matt, we talked about putting that out for them. Did we put it out any other way?
We're going to be sending that out later today.
Sending that out later today.
Yep,
Okay.
will be an email notification for levels 1 and 2 that was up on YouTube. That same video.
I think you'll find that extremely interesting regarding the bigger picture of the stock market. Now, I was going to do a gold big picture. Also, we've had a lot of requests for that, and I've been working on that. That got put off by me having COVID, and also by wanting to work on the stock market big picture. So I'll be traveling back to Florida from Chicago at the end of the week, and then I'll be putting out that video after August 9th. So you'll be able to get this bigger picture of gold, which is so important because the timing of the low that we've had is remarkable, and then it just nailed the ideal bottom that I talked about 5 months ago. So it's really, I think, an important video also for those of you that are interested in the gold market. Let's just see how many people, you can raise your hand, are the first time that you ever been in an askSlim live. Put up your hands. Okay, lots of hands going up right now. So we do this about every 2 weeks. And usually we don't invite in the free members, and that's specifically because we need to control the size of the questions. So welcome to you, and I'm glad you're able to come, and we invite you because we want you really to participate in the PSP. So Matt's going to be bringing that, and you'll be invited to participate, and you'll have to sign up for that. So I just want to cue you up to be signing up for our popular services preview. It's going to blow you away about all the things that you get for nearly 3 weeks. So don't miss this starting on August 5th. So that's about all the commercial stuff I'm going to give you right now. And then I'll leave the rest of the commercials to Matt. So, all right, let's take a look at, I don't know what that is. We're not going to really look at that right now. Look at the stock market, SPX. That's the old Facebook. All right, so this is the normal way that I look at charts every day, and you can see it's very artistic. I have a wide palette of colors that I use in here, and while this has probably little meaning looking at this way to many of you, it has a lot of meaning to me. And this is really the period we're looking at, the big rally there, which was the government and the Fed inflating everything in the great pandemic bubble. With the massive valuations, and I refer to those valuations in the big picture analysis I just did. And this is the great reset right in here, where the market has given up 24.4% of its rally, and now has rebounded back to the major 38, essentially, which is an important number to look at. And you will see where the average bear market rallies to in these big rebounds. So what's significant in here is that the rebound is strong. When you get a rebound that's as much as the one that we've had in here, where you get this 12.7% advance in the middle of decline, it's even I, as the analyst, wonder, how can this turn down? What can this get? How can this get weak again? What could make that happen? And it's just normally what happens is that the energy of the rebound disappears. Now, when you look at the fact that this is a minor cycle right in here, when I say minor cycle, and I show this line, this arc right in here that you see, that's just a visual of an energetic movement in the market, like this minor cycle right in here, which when you get the bigger cycle and the minor cycle coming down together, you get the big declines as you got right there, and the one that is due right in this period over here. Now, the best case that I can make is that the market would come down and test this low down around 36.36. And if the market doesn't do that, in other words, if it has some decline in here that's minor, then the big dominant energy that you see in this bigger cycle will have shifted, and it will be giving us a message. And the market always talks to us based on this energetic movements. Right now, you can see the energetic movement of the dominant cycle by looking at just this timing right in here, and that timing is 26 weeks on average, as if you're looking at the ocean and, every 26 minutes or every 26 seconds, some wave is coming in at you and it seems to come in all at the same time. These are just energies, and what we're looking at is the energies of money flows in here. And that's basically the same thing. There's energy all over the universe. And in this case, the upward movement in here, where you have this big advance that you see that looks really big, you'll note that it only gets just to the intermediate 50 right over there, the major 38, whereas the intermediate cycle right over here, the second one makes a new high. The second one over here makes a new high. So the second one here even made a new high, though it failed fast. This one nowhere near there. So the market has changed very significantly, and we're in this negative period right now, even though we're in a minor intermediate rising phase. It's a lot of words. We are in a condition of dominant long-term declining phase. You can actually have a buy, and I got so many emails and comments over the weekend because on market week I put a buy in there when I think the market is in a bear market, and everybody says, well, I don't understand. You said it's going down, and now you're saying it's going up. Well, yeah, I'm saying it's going down and I'm saying it's going up, but I have specific timing for that. Here is that daily chart. And when you look at the cycles in here, which are so unbelievably clear, you can see that there is a rhythmic motion, and that rhythmic motion changed. So when you make a lower low and a lower low and a lower low, that's all that downward pressure coming from the longer term cycles. And then you get a positive cycle that formed in here. Well, that says that the advance is not done, because the energies in here are saying that there's only a small time to correct. We looked for a decline, and we talked about it in this early August period. And before the market took off in here, we thought it would be deeper. But once it moves up through resistance, it tells us that something is different. So this is the area right in here. It's got maybe 5 to 8 days that it could decline during this period. I have it declining to the minor 38.2 right there. However, it could get just into the slim ribbon over here, which often gives it support, and then turn up again. This is a very strong configuration. So again, giving this cycle lesson, this strong configuration that you can see in this cycle that is now the dominant cycle is I think there are 34 days. That is well above the slim ribbon there, which is green in here and telling you conditions are positive. That you can see that shape is this shape right in here. So this weekly right there I'm showing you is this daily. That's how they work together. So with this weekly positive and the momentum positive, and this daily configuration showing you definitely a positive translation and configuration, the probabilities of this advance are extremely high. That makes this a buy area or a buy zone within the conditions of a longer term negative market. This is for short-term traders. So raise your hand if that was clear. I want to be really clear that I'm saying this in a way that makes a lot of sense. Very good. Tons of hands going up, because understanding the energetic conditions of the market is one of the secrets to really being a good trader, and that is biasing your positions. That's why we created the option bias indicator, because that tells you how to bias your positions. Here I'm moving in right over here, our market monitor, which you should be able to see on there with the S&P 500, the QQQ, the IWM, the Dow Jones Industrials, Dow Jones Transportation Average. So you can see in here that the OBI option bias indicator is very dark green right in here. So what that means is that it's taking into effect the weekly conditions, saying that they're quite strong. When you have that, then the declines are going to be minor. But look at all this green over here. All of our major momentum indicators are saying the market is in strong shape for the short term. These are basically short-term indicators. The reversal scout is the most sensitive, and with the market going down 30 points today on the S&Ps, well, it didn't change at all. So that's the conditions of the market monitor. Market monitor will work on everything that we have on Thinkorswim, everything on Thinkorswim. So that's only available to our level 4 members. So, but I do share it with you on occasion for you to see that. So that is not part of the PSP, but if you're interested in that, then you become a level 4 member and open up a Thinkorswim account. So that's the conditions of the stock market. The Nasdaq, S&P 500 are basically the same. The Russell is maybe a little bit stronger, but still basically the same. Conditions positive, configuration on the daily positive, all the momentum conditions positive, and the weekly is positive. And I believe all of that positive exists within a longer term negative condition on the stock market. That's the opening, and if you have any questions about that, please do put that in the Q&A. Matt, I'm going to turn it over to you right now, and you can talk all about some great stuff.
All right, thanks, Slim. Great analysis and instruction as usual. All right, so in my brief segment here, I'm going to be providing a high-level overview of our upcoming popular services preview. So I'm going to go over those details now, share my screen. Harvey, if you can just let me know, we see the popular services preview slide. Okay, very good. Okay, so who's this for? This is for the general population of traders and technical analysis enthusiasts out there. So we're welcoming our free members. We're welcoming really anybody who's out in the trading universe, those who are interested in technical analysis to come into our open house, which starts on August 5th. Obviously, our askSlim members are included in this, and I'll go over specifically what that means for each level. What are we sharing? Well, we are sharing many of our most popular services that are our premium services, and I'll show those details on the next slide. Slim went over those in Market Week, but just in case you missed it, I'll just do a very quick review. And this is going to take place, as we've mentioned, it starts on August 5th, so this Friday, somewhere around noon Central Standard Time, you'll get an email from us letting you know that it's live and ready to go. Where can you access it? It'll be hosted on askSlim.com. For those of you that are free members or levels 1, level 2, you will get that will pull the curtain open on Discord, and you'll be able to view basically everything on Discord. It'll be a view-only experience, but you will get to see all the various channels that we have available. We have a number of them, and you'll see what it's like to participate or watch the participation on Discord. You'll still be able to learn a lot as you go on Discord to see those interactions. And then we're going to have special Zoom live events. So I'll be doing probably a couple different PSP overviews, webinars, educational webinars on those specific services, how to maximize the opportunity during the free period. So even if you're level 1, 2, 3, 4, 4+, and you want to just get further information, you're obviously welcome to join. And it makes those events even better when we have some of our seasoned members participate. Why are we doing this? Well, we want to introduce the askSlim methodology to more traders and aspiring technical analysis. We're very proud of the methodology that Slim's built over almost 5 decades now, and that Arvi, myself, and Katie are now building off of. And we want to be able to share that and to more traders and aspiring technical analysts, and obviously expand our community. With Discord, we really have a great sense of that community, and we want to continue to grow that to benefit all of us. And obviously we want our current members to experience and learn more about the services that are available to them. We have many new members that leave, members that come, and we want to make sure that those of you that are here with us, that you have a chance to take full advantage of what we have available. So again, that's going to launch on the 5th, and it's going to run through August 26th. In terms of what do we have available, though, that'll include the stock index report, the daily snapshot that comes out each day, typically in the evening. Our SIR intraday live stream, that's great for intraday and scalpers. and that will be available. Our S&P 500 multi-time frame chart stream grid. We go from the weekly all the way down to the 15-minute with all of our proprietary indicators on there. It's a fantastic way at a glance to get a sense of the overall conditions at multiple time frames. We will be opening up our trade ideas. That's really an excellent way to get a feel for our process as we go through, and Arby leads this. And then on Discord, there is some good dialogue back and forth. We talk about these trade ideas, so that'll become available. The weekly Future Speak video that Arby is now the host. So Professor Arby will be walking through our methodology on all of the markets that we cover in Future Speak. Our Slimulator ranking system, which reflects the current conditions at a 3 to 6 week outlook for our focus list. The Slimulator momentum tracker, which is more for longer term position traders or investors to get a feel for that longer term momentum condition. And then, as I mentioned, our Discord server, you'll get to peek behind the curtain and take a look at that. And then we have our new cycle low timing tracker, which is a great tool that we have created essentially to surface more around the cycle timing aspect of our cycle analysis methodology. And Katie leads that area. She does an excellent job. Just about every single day we update it, and it really does give you a picture of when that cycle low timing conditions are really coming into play, especially when you have several markets or symbols all sort of piling into the cycle low timing period. And then what we do is we show the phasing of that process of going from basically the riskiest period to then when there is a sufficient price action that would reflect that a bottom is pending, and then even further that the bottom has formed where the likelihood is higher that we should be in a continued rising phase. So all that is available in that cycle low timing tracker. And then our new hubs, our trade planning hubs. We have a futures hub, an equities hub, and an ETF, equities and ETF hub. So that's a great place to easily access all of our information. And it's at that like 3 to 6 week outlook, which is a sweet spot for many of our members in terms of timing. So all that's available with the free preview. If you're a free member, you're going to need to sign up for this. You can do that at askSlim.com. I'll pull over the homepage. If you haven't yet, you should see it right here. You can just click on the sign up. That'll take you over to the landing page here, which gives an overview similar to what I just covered on what's available. Fill out the form, and then we will make sure that you are included in the PSP. If you are a level 1 or 2 member, you will get in your dashboard. So as you go into your dashboard, likely Friday afternoon, you'll see additional services in there. And so those services will appear in your dashboard, like the equities and ETF trade planning hub, and you will have access to that information starting on Friday. It will be in your dashboard. There's nothing you will need to do. Levels 1 and 2, levels 3 and 4. Not a huge change for you at that level because you get all of this information already. But it is a great chance to ask questions on these, participate in some of the live events. So we welcome that. And something fun that we're going to be doing as a benefit to really all of our members as well is, and there'll be more information coming out probably by Friday or by early next week, is we're going to have a sweepstakes, a drawing, basically a referral program. So if you invite anyone to participate in the PSP and they do join, then you would get entered into that sweepstakes. And for every entry based on the people that you get to participate, and again, it's totally free. There's no credit card required or anything. You'll get entered into that sweepstakes, and we're going to give away cycle workshops, the 5 essential building block workshop, and also we're going to do an exclusive. We're going to limit it to maybe 10 total people, and then the analyst team. So Slim, Arby, myself, and Katie. So that'll be another prize as part of the sweepstakes, where it'll just be a 45-minute or so Q&A just with us. You can ask any questions you want regarding the methodology or anything around trade planning. or whatever you'd like in that area. So a lot going on. Very excited about this opportunity, and we hope that everybody enjoys it and benefits from it. If there's any specific questions on that now, I can cover it, or we can cover some of that at the end during the Q&A.
There was a question that just came out on the bottom. By the way, I moved my mic, so I hope it's louder to you. About any plans for discounted yearly memberships in the future. We talked about that. So
yeah, that's definitely something that is in the works. There's a lot that goes into making those kind of decisions, and that will likely be in the next couple months. I would expect that we will have a plan available for everyone to look at.
okay, that's great. All right, let's
Great
take
job, Matt.
what
Thank
the
you.
questions
Yep.
are in here.
All right, Slim is now loud and clear, people are saying.
All
Very
right, good. That's great. Bart said he had a few friends that may be interested in the PSP.
Great.
He wants to know how to refer them. So you're going to be
Oh,
sending
yeah.
out emails, or?
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. We will be sending out the referral form, the link that you can pass along. If you, so just watch for that. We'll make sure that we communicate that via all of our channels. So email, Discord, probably put it up on the website. You can write to me now as just as a reminder, and I'll make sure to catalog those requests. But yeah, make sure you let people know. I mean, there's no strings attached. It'll be a lot of fun, and they should learn a lot. So.
All right, very good. So we have some questions in here on the VIX and on the stock market and on my hair. No, I didn't. Yeah, I did get a haircut, but I still have my ponytail here, as you can see. So he said, does Slim cut his hair or trimming position so he could battle the Fed better for us? No, I did get it trimmed up, as you can see, but I still have my ponytail. We have questions on silver. Thank you, TS Long, for your assist on the COVID issue. I will look into that. TLT. Leon says special report on bear markets. Very well done. Well, thank you for that. I do not see anything here so far in the stock equity area.
Looks like Amazon just popped up, so we can look at that. But yeah, almost all futures right now. So
yeah, wow. There's one.
Someone asked for Amazon.
LOL. I don't have that symbol.
Yeah.
looks like PayPal. Yeah, but they're
Okay.
Mostly futures. But,
Okay,
yeah.
good. So I'll run down these futures and you can queue up those equities.
Sounds good.
All right, let me take this back.
All righty.
From AP, he says, Slim and team, I'm looking to go long VIX. Based on cycle timing, it looks like the middle of August might be a good idea to take a long position in VIX. Is that the right reading of the cycle analysis? Furthermore, what is the upside projection in VIX? So that's an easy question to answer. Yes, it is the right reading, and I'll put up VIX in here for you to see. So again, one thing that's important to look at right in here on the SPX, you'll note that this rally is projected up to peak somewhere in here around the second to third week of August. Now, this cycle goes further than that, but the reason that I have this turn right in here, and almost every single thing that I do on these is based on using some correlations or some levels that I think is important. The reason for that is because looking at the VIX chart, which is right here, this low here is due right around that time in VIX. So I'm extrapolating what we have here out of VIX to give me some idea of that projection right in there. Now, when I go back and look at these VIX cycles, and you can see, wow, look at how they line up. It's amazing. There is this alignment in here may be skewed slightly to the left based on what I see here. It's because of this longer one in here that I have it skewed slightly to the left. It might be that it comes to the right by a few days, but I haven't pushed it over there yet because I'm not seeing that as the highest probability, but it doesn't matter. Is the low on VIX going to be, 814 or 820? It's somewhere in there that those projections are. You see these vertical lines. This is actually 8.8. This is out over here at 818. So it could be even a little later than that in that area. So we don't know for sure where that's going to line up. It could skew a little bit to the right, which would mean a little later date. But yes, that would be the time that the daily chart aligns to having that low in the VIX. Now, when I switch over to the weekly chart, and I don't have the correct weekly up here, there it is. So the weekly chart, and this moved over. Let me just fix that. For some reason, you might see on some of your drawings that there's a why does that look so weird? There it is. Okay. So this points to a low here in this cycle also somewhere around that third week of August. So when you look at that, it says to me that this rebound in the stock market probably has 2 or 3 weeks left to go. And that is why I have that peak drawn. Even if I look at the NDX, you can see the same thing right in here. The peak that we're showing comes in that same time frame in August. So, and you can see it looks so much like the S&P 500, of course. So that's the answer to that question. It really, I would say that the sum of the evidence based on looking at the correlations between the indexes and the VIX are suggesting somewhere around the third week of August as where the peak will be in this rebound in the stock market or the low in VIX. You asked a question about how high will it go? That's not something that's easy to answer. We've seen positive phases in the VIX peak out at 30. We've seen them peak out at 60. We just don't know the intensity of the decline and in the stock market yet. And we also don't know what the demand for insurance will be. And that's really what the VIX is a measure of the demand for insurance in the market. The higher the price to puts, the higher relative price to the puts, the higher the VIX goes. So that's the best answer I think I could give you on that. Claude says, glad you recovered. I watched the video you posted on Sunday. You mentioned that SPY over the next 5 to 8 trading days was likely to have a retracement down below 400. So in other words, 4,000 on the SPX, which I just showed. So let's go back to that SPX and get a closer look right in here. And this minor low right over there where it's pointing is 39.84. So that is still what the highest probability is, that because of this strength in here that we see on all of the momentum conditions, that it will only decline to the minor 38. If it were to go to the minor 23, that would be extraordinarily strong. And we get somewhere into this rising slim ribbon right over here and then turn up. But the highest probability is 39.84. So that's only 107 points from now. And we have 107-point days. So that is one bad day to the downside in here. And maybe the China situation stimulates that. So that's the best answer that I think I can give you on that. We're getting questions on silver. And Joe says, I sent the team an email regarding his concern on SLV ETF backed by physical silver. I haven't seen that, Joe. So I don't really know what you had said about that. I do know that historically, when the physical availability is either really great or not, it does affect it can affect the ETFs. We've had conditions before where, especially had affect GLD when there was physical gold versus paper gold is what we're talking about. When there was so much paper gold created on the market, it caused the GLD to fall significantly. That could be an issue. That maybe is what you were talking about. I didn't see it, and I don't know about any condition right now that may be affecting the ETF in SLV. So if you want to send that directly to me, you can do that, and I'll see what I can find on that. So Jim asked, please, for the analysis of silver. This analysis has been given to Arvi for his review, and he looked over it already for his creation of the Future Speak video, which will come out tomorrow. So he'll be looking at this again, of course, and you'll get his interpretation of it. But right now, you can see where we are in silver, and that is that the lows that we had talked about forming, and look at these cycles. I mean, it blows you away by the consistencies of the energetic motion in there on the weekly chart. This low came about at the time it was supposed to, and the minimum upside objective would be getting to probably the 50%, which is 2275, sometime between now and January. We never know, the magnitude of the upside could be much greater. And of course, the magnitude of the upside could be much less. Were you to get this upside move, come up here, and then take out this low over here, well, that would be a left-hand translation and a nightmare situation. That is not what is expected. If you look at the all of the first half cycles in silver here, you can see that the amount of the advance in this cycle right there. I'm going to go do things a little different here because Arvi will not cover it this way tomorrow. That, you look at the low here at 1172, and then you look at the peak here in that first half cycle, and that is up around, what was that? Close to 19. So what is that? An 80% advance in that first minor cycle. When you look at this one here, it's from down here at 22 to get up here to, in a bearish cycle, up to 30. So that's $8 move in there, which is like a 35% move. And you look at this first cycle right over here, first minor cycle, comes up from 21.5 to 25.5. So that was a measly $4 at that point. And then it actually had a much bigger gain, of course, in the second minor cycle. Here we are again here in the first minor half cycle, just really starting. So looking for anything other than upside just doesn't make any sense to me when you see that. Now, when you look at the daily chart here, you can see that it is stalling, if anything, at a point of resistance. And what we're looking for is the basing cycle to occur. So when you make an intermediate low and then your short-term pattern rallies, fails, somewhere in resistance, comes down, but does not make a lower low, you confirm a positive configuration and the base built, and then the next cycle joins the intermediate on the upside, and that's when you can get some real explosive action in there to the upside. And if it acted ideally, this would be the last week of August into September, right into there where that upside would be. So I want you to note that the slim ribbon PO was negative all in here, and these downward arrows, and again, proprietary indicator for level 4, these arrows tell you when there's likely a resumption coming of downside momentum. Remember, these are not trading signals. These are telling you about conditions, and you can see in here what happened. So here it is turned blue, as you can see, it is neutralized. And at some point in here, it might turn green or it might stay blue for a while. But I would bet that over here in this area, that it's going to give you positive momentum and it's going to be moving up rather significantly over there. So the sum of the evidence that we're looking at in here, you can see in here the momentum conditions looking at the reversal scout. still negative. This needs to turn up. This has turned neutral, and we're in the bottoming area. Now, I haven't looked at the cycle low tracker, and my guess is that Katie has not yet moved this into where it's a confirmed bottom, but that probably is coming soon. So we're past the point of the period of risk, which was right in here, and where we would get the big declines with the negative momentum. And then we're moving into the stages of the bottoming where it's a higher probability to be on the long side, but not yet, as you can see that. That's why we talk about nibbling at certain times, and then at certain times really kind of piling on. I call that when I do some coaching to being kind of this snake in the grass type trader waiting to pounce, just kind of, sniffing the air a little bit. But then when the time comes, you get ready to pounce and spring at it. And that's when you load up the position for the bigger trade. So that's just my style, and the way I think it's a good way to look at it. So I think I went way past what you asked about silver, but that's what I do, even with COVID. Here is the TLT. We get this question from Ray. Hey, Ray. And look at TLT in here. First of all, you can see just the same as happened in all of the futures. This inverted head and shoulders formed in here, and you can see where the measured move is. Now, we always, whenever these patterns form, we put in the measured moves. A good portion of the time they get to those levels. So in this case, the upside projection on the weekly chart is up here at about 2480. And if you look right over here, this is coming down here to about 25. So if it were to make the upside projection over here, it would also make the measured move over there in TLT. Momentum conditions, positive. When you look at the inverse of this, which is the TNX, but actually not quite inverse, because the TNX is the 10-year and the TLT is the 20-year. But still, when you look at the TNX, and I'm going to go way past what you asked, looking in here, because I want to discuss momentum conditions in the TNX. Here you could see the momentum in here is negative there in TNX. TNX daily right here. And the momentum conditions negative in here. So you get the inverse, where you have negative momentum in the TNX, and you have TLT with positive momentum. And it simply says the highest odds are that interest rates are going to be under pressure, and that futures will be moving up. And when you get into, we use the TLT to give us levels too, of where we would expect the upside to end. And that's, you can see that Harvey will show that tomorrow when he reviews the TNX. So that I hope answers your question, Ray. Still looking like interest rates are going to be under pressure, and that the market, the futures market, treasury market will still be rising. Joseph asked for coffee /KC. And coffee is not in good shape in here. It has a pretty negative weekly pattern. Just blow that baby up. And what's really negative in here is that if you look at this cycle right here, you can see the positive translation and configuration. When I say translation and configuration, and if those are strange words to you in this vocabulary, I really encourage you to take the cycle analysis workshop. It's an investment that will last you for a lifetime. Here is the next positive cycle. It says the next one will make a higher high, but look, it made a lower low. Then the next cycle failed in resistance, which is the highest probability, and then broke this low. So when you break underneath the cycle low, the odds are high that it won't finish the decline until you get around the area of the bottoming, as you see right there. This says coffee is likely to decline over here way out into October. It could get as low here as 181. So this says that rallies need to be sold in the coffee market. This you could see under those negative conditions, it is failing here At the sell zone, we put sell zone in there because of those conditions. And guess what? It was a sell zone as the market moves down. We had this higher track in here because it was a possibility that it would move to the 78.6. But now I'm going to take these out of here. Or you could pull those out of there tomorrow if you want to, because they're not really a very high probability that it will make the higher track anymore. Momentum condition turned it negative again. So this is all pretty nasty looking at the coffee market. Natural gas put in a big double top, and that go to weekly, as you can see right in here. There's that double top, that really huge rejection right there. And we're now looking for it to get down here to probably the mid sixes, sometime out into September. It could get into this white space a little bit, but probably then come down again. There's your daily chart. So this points to the period for the minor low in August, around the third week of August. This over here points to the low in September. That means that this bigger cycle right over here, which goes out to September 27th, is going to sync with the weekly cycle. And that's going to make for some potential large declines out over here. Right now, it's still configured okay. The momentum is still okay. So we don't really look for significant declines. But then later out over here in September is when you can get those declines. So, again, Ari will speak about this stuff again tomorrow. Looks like gold is rejecting the 50. Arlu says, can you review gold? I think I just did that, but I don't have the 50 on here. No, I did silver, didn't I? I didn't do gold. I don't have the 50. I don't use the 50. So I use the 89 on the daily, which is way up here. So that's not, it's not in play right now. It did get up to resistance and then began to move down. That's like what silver did. And here's the silver cycle, and here it's a little bit larger. So again, we're looking for it to come down here into the 1750 area, potentially down here to about 1733 over this next 2 weeks, and then be moving up again, like similarly to what we saw in the silver market. T.S. Long says, if you were short ES, that's like, trying to figure out how to get us to answer a question without giving advice. I know you're asking for a friend. If you were short ES, was the area where the askSlim ribbon PO turned blue, the time to get out? Wrong. When the slim ribbon turns blue, it is suggestive of the fact that the momentum condition that existed no longer exists. That doesn't say anything about trading other than you using that along with whatever else you use for your trading as information. These indicators are information. And so if you believe in your trading, and I do, that the analysis has to support the position, then when your indicators are no longer supporting it, that's when you have to look at it and say, is it time for me to act? I can't really tell you that that's the exact time to get out. It just says things have neutralized at that point. So they could go back the same way as they were. They're just potentially resting. So it's not right to look at it. That's an exit sign. It's not really. It's just information. What would be your target for the S&P 500 upswing? That would be right now we're looking at on the weekly chart at two levels. We're looking at the 38% where it got to the major 38 and the major 50. And if you look at the major 50 based on what I showed in the big picture analysis, you'll be able to tell where that level is. So it's up in those areas that we think that it can get up to and then fail. Let's see in here. Joseph, thank you. I am feeling better, but the stuff is lingering. So we have Amazon, PayPal, Is heating oil headed much higher in the next 6 months? 6 months is a long way, you know that? /HO. Well, what we want to do is look at, since you said 6 months, we want to look at the weekly chart. Get this proper analysis up here. So based on what we see in here, the projection doesn't really point to up for the next 6 months. As a matter of fact, it points to a failure. Why is that the case? Well, because this rally gave up 78.6%. The probabilities of the next advance getting to a new high are small based on this. So it's at a pretty good support area. You can look at the 34-week moving average right there. This is an area that's likely to hold. Cycles say it's likely to bottom in here. But then what's going to happen is that right over here is going to be a sell area setting up. We don't know where the anchor point is, so we didn't really put that in yet. But the probabilities of getting to a new high are small. The probability of a rally that lasts for maybe 6 to 10 weeks are high. Probably getting back up to 4, maybe even 4.25. But then after that, the probability of a moving downside again are pretty high. And that's down to that support or that cycle area right there of about 292. So that's the heating oil market. And oh, you asked for oil, not heating oil. Well, I just gave you heating oil. All right, let's look at oil, see if that looks similar. /CL. Guess what? So you can see in there, it actually looks worse than heating oil. And that is because not only did it break the 78.6, but it broke the cycle low right over there. That makes the odds better than, I would give it 75% that it fails in the next rally. You can see the projection up to 107 and then coming down. Also, you have this big nesting going on right over there, which says that it's likely that the market will be, after that rally to somewhere between 105 and 110, that it could fall pretty hard. Now, look at those cycles in there, how they align, looking way back. When you get into these periods, and I could put the yellow one in there, right up over here, when you get into this periods of nesting, it's when you have a lot of risk, where you get your biggest declines. And that's what's going on right in this period here, where it starts to nest on the bottom. And that is not a period where you would expect anything but significant downside. So that's CL, not and that is in alignment with heating oil. So those of you that wanted heating oil, and nobody asked. With gold's pullback today, do you think it will fill the gap before going higher? I don't know. I don't really look at gaps. I think that gap trading offers a lot of fantasy, and that is a good way to get really hammered by expecting a gap to be filled. Sometimes gaps don't get filled for 6 months, maybe ever, on some stocks that turn down from highs and never make their way back. So I don't really look at gaps, and if you have success with them, I don't want to knock it. Use them if you think they're good. XLE, XOM, that is one coming up for RV in a moment. Corey says, great work. Do you think we have seen the near-term highs already in SPY and QQQ? I think I answered that, and that is I expect the highs to be made in later in second to third week of August. There's a question on Apple also, and we're going to close questions right now. And we have this big one right here. Joe says, thanks. I have one more question for Slim and team. We all know that silver price is being manipulated. Well, maybe you all know it, but I don't know it. What's the impact of the manipulation on SLV? Can they dilute SLV price value if there's a run on the physical silver and banks can't deliver? Yes, if there's that kind of move, of course, what they do sometimes is call force majeure, which means that they cannot fulfill the contracts, and that tends to, stop a move after some extreme. you're discussing essentially that the paper market can't be filled by the physical market. I have not heard that. Is there any way to turn silver into physical silver without selling the ETF and exchanging silver to physical silver? I don't feel qualified to answer that. Are there any other stocks or ETFs that are backed 100% by physical silver? There may be other silver ETFs that I don't follow. I'm not sure about that. And how can we trust those agencies that they're not leveraging their current holdings of physical silver? Well, they might be. And I don't know if it's a matter of trust. It's a matter of, in our case, looking at the technicals and saying, what are they saying to us? So while I often look at the story behind the market, I'm still 90% a technical trader. So I don't really know whether any of these things are real or not that you're talking about. I can't dispute them because I don't know. I haven't read anything that I think is significant around that. I'll keep my eyes open based on what you're saying. Brian, I don't follow Boyle. Sorry about that. Thanks, BN. I will do my best to recover. How high can DXY go? Thank you. I think DXY made its high, but I think it might test it based on the weakness that I see in the euro currency patterns. So that will be covered by RV tomorrow as he goes through all of those. All right, RV, I'm going to turn this over to you for these equities.
All right, Slim, thanks very much. Appreciate it. Well, let's first look at Amazon, since that was the first one on the list, and we will run through these. All right, so this is the weekly and daily chart for Amazon. Let's open up the weekly chart. Again, what happened is in Amazon, this low that we were looking for around the end of August actually shifted to the left and formed just about 2 months ago, about 6 to 8 weeks ago is where that low formed here. And then we got into that rising phase. So again, we are looking for risk. So looking for a little bit more on the upside in Amazon, likely to around that 3rd to 4th week of August, and then look for this to start to roll back down. It is in this key zone from, these are all now modified, so it's different, unusual to see Amazon so cheap down here. But at 136, cheap on a relative basis, price, not on actual earnings, but that's from 135.64 to 144.47. So in this zone is overall where we will look for Amazon to really fail in, somewhere in that zone, and then start to roll back down with that next low coming due 11.14 to 12.9, so a little bit later. So we'll have to see first how this high forms, then we'll then look for what this next move lower will actually look like. Right now in this rising phase on the intermediate term daily chart, again, focus on this one right here, this nice rally off of this low rising phase, now showing some signs of failure. You can see versus that 136.90 area, not able to get too much higher. So watch to see if we form a little bit of a bull flag here, and we have our next daily low due again right around that middle part of August. And then we'll be looking for this to give another test up back to the upside, as we just mentioned on that weekly time frame. These areas on the downside are rising. They come in from 129.79 to 123.83. So a decent pattern still in Amazon, but once we form this low, get into this next rally mode here, we'll be watching for a high to form somewhere out here as we get out into the later part of August and then roll down. So that's what the highest odds are based on what we're looking at. Let's see, the PayPal. I haven't updated PayPal purposely because I did see that they had earnings. So we can see that it's marking higher in the after hours, just about $10 or so. So we had a bottom that was due to form. So this makes sense. Obviously, it's had a huge move lower, reasonable to get a bounce, which is what we are in right now. We were looking for a move to around 100. We're already there. So if we use our fib tool, we'll draw some fresh levels here. This is way too high. So we're going to use this minor cycle high here just to get an understanding of some of the levels that are closer. You can see there's a 78.6 around 111. So that would be our next reference on the upside here in PayPal. But overall pattern is really super bearish, and we're in just a window of time here where we can get this rally. If we look at the daily chart, again, this does have to be updated, but we were looking for, this was in a rising phase. So obviously we don't know what's going to happen on earnings. In this case, it gapped up into this, it looks like it'll gap up into this $100 area. So what are we looking for? Well, we're looking for a high to form relatively shortly here and then start to get into this little bit of a pullback, which goes out into the third week of August, really third to fourth week. And then we'll have to see what happens. Does it rally and then fail quickly, or does it rally and make a new high? We'll have to see. But right now, still in that short-term rising phase. And we are looking at some levels up here, 98.60 to 103.80, somewhere around there in the short term is reasonable to watch for a failure in PayPal. If we look at XLE and XOM, recent short-term 1 to 5 day for a small pop before a market decline. Looks like you want to look at XLE, Brian. So let's go ahead and do that. So interestingly, XLE has actually already formed in all likelihood that low. So that low formed right here. We were looking for a low to form the week of 7-11 to 8:15. You can see that low formed the week of 7-11 and is in all likelihood already turning back to the upside, as we can see here, and has formed that low. Obviously, there is a chance for it to sell off sharply, but given this really decent move already off of this low, taking out all of these highs here, it is likely that that low has formed. And the levels on the upside come in 79.49 to 82.53, 78.6 at 87.16. Those are our upside references. This got very close to looking at that old low, but did not actually break the low. But it is giving us a little bit of a warning that this next rising phase may fail somewhere in this zone and then start to roll back down. So we just need to be aware of that here in the XLE. If this were to get over this level right here, then things would get obviously much more positive. But right now we are watching for this to actually form a lower high versus that old high right here at 93.31. Then we'll be watching for this to possibly roll over back to the downside going out into the end of the year. That's really what we'll be watching for. But right now, again, very early in this new rally mode here, dips are likely to get bought. Let's see that on the daily. Bring in our charts here. Again, nice gap up on the ExxonMobil, Chevron earnings, all that happened. Strong numbers, big gap, consolidating, forming a little bit of a flag here. Want to see this hold up, hold that flag, and then see if this can turn up once this next daily low forms, which is due 8.8 to 8.15. Levels are rising. They come in 75.12 to 73.18. There's a minor 78.6 around 71.66. We need to hold that level right now for this to really stay quite positive. But you can see we've already looked over this old prior daily cycle high at 76.90. So positive action so far based on everything we're seeing in XLE. Same thing with XOM. Weekly chart is the same. Low formed, got into this rally mode, already moved through that 61.8 fib, which is positive. So we have that 78.6 at around 100 as that next level. The reason that we like this name is because it's actually acting better than some of the other names we actually follow. So that's why we are looking at this as a long side idea in XOM. So looking for this area around 76, around 100, and then the prior cycle high around 105 to be our next upside levels here on the weekly time frame. Daily looks the exact same. We do have a long side trade idea in this name, forming this flag. Want to see this zone from 92.90 to 89.90 to hold. Don't want to see this below the minus 78.6. And for this idea, we are looking for a move over the $100 level here in this next short-term rising phase, which goes out into the later part of August here in XOM. So decent overall setup as we're looking at it, and certainly acting nicely again in XOM. So let's look at Apple. So Apple's interesting. Again, this blue low right here off of this cycle low in the middle part of June looks like to me that this is showing that this low is now in this rising phase, meaning this is where that low formed. Is there a chance that we sell off very sharply and actually look back at that low? Yes, but this has already had a move through this zone from what the 148.60 to 159.80. That's really more positive. So right now, my personal lean would be for this to actually make a higher low going out into this next low zone here, which is due 1010 to 1121. We'll have to see how it ends up trading, but that's what looks like the highest odds to me right now, given that we have moved through some really some levels that would tell us if this was bearish. If this was bearish, we would have failed in this zone here because we've already moved through it and it's acting really quite nicely. That next level up is that 78.6, which is really quite positive. So that's what we're looking at right now here in Apple. Daily chart, again, looks like it already formed its low right here. And now getting this modest little move lower, not a whole lot lower. So reasonable to see this zone from 158.76 to 155.68 to hold. We don't want to really see this below the 78.6 at 153.42, sorry. Reasonable to get up to the 61.8 around 167. And then again, same picture, VIX low right around that second to third week in August time period. Watch for that high to form an Apple and then for this to start to roll over. That's why we've drawn it as such, high to form around that time period and then roll down, because note on this next low, if we highlight this blue cycle to do around 9.5, that's when this cycle low approximately is due to form. So we would look for some pressure on the downside into that low timing, another rally, and then another move lower. That's really what this looks like here in Apple, based on everything I'm looking at right now.
That's great stuff. Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks a lot.
Yep.
All right. So, excuse me, that is going to wrap us up. We have one more question on here from Jay. What level do you need to be to get access to all symbols of stocks? So we actually don't do all symbols of stocks except for level 4 plus, where you can ask for virtually any symbol to be analyzed, and then we do that work and send that to you. When you get our Slimulator ranking system, that has the 84 best traded symbols on there, and for level 4 members, they get the live chart grids to put on their Thinkorswim platform. Now, for level 1 members, you get the Slimulator momentum tracker, which has over 1,000 symbols in it, but that is for longer term traders and for position traders and investors. So if you want all of the cycle information that we have, you can get it in static version as a level 3. As a level 4, you can get our live charts, and as a level 4 plus, you can then request up to 2 custom chart grids per week. So there's lots of ways that you can get all of the information that we have and any other information that you might want. There's a lot of support that goes on in the Discord channel, and you can get a lot of extra type of analysis in there also. So you might want to look at that. These guys do an amazing job in there in Discord, and you get more and more information by doing that. I want to remind you all that you're going to get notified for those of you that are level free members that you get the PSP and see all of our most popular services coming up for this next August 5th to August 26th period. And also to participate when you get sent the information to refer people, and then maybe you'll win some great prizes from us. So Matt, you got anything to close on that?
Oh, I think you reiterated the best way to get at the analysis that we do. And I think this webinar today was fantastic in terms of the overall information shared and the questions asked. We had a really large attendance, so it was an excellent live event.
Great. I think so too. Arby, great work. What do you got to say?
Yeah, I think it was great. I think everyone, I think this will be a fun few week time period. So please let us know what you think as well. I think that's something that we always want to learn, because we always want to get better at everything we do for you as well. So
Sure.
Thank you very much.
One more thing I want to say, since Katie wasn't here, She's now doing a new segment that we just started in Discord, which is about putting our analytical style together with option trading, which is something that we've talked so many years about moving into, and she's going to take the lead on that. Anything you can add to that regarding what she shows in there?
Yeah, so what she does is basically she takes symbols, right? And then she says, okay, based on what we are seeing, what can you do? And she actually will literally walk through it. It's super helpful. So definitely watch. They're about like 25 minutes long, so very easy to watch, and you can learn a ton. So I think it's been really interesting.
Right. And that is recorded, right?
It is, yep.
And what levels see that recording?
3, 4, and 4+.
Oh, okay, great. All right, great information.
Slim, do you
All
want me
right.
to show what it looks like on Discord here?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
We still have a big crowd in here, so
All right. And then the replay, people can see it too.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So we have all these channels and categories on Discord. And then our trade planning with options, there are a few specific channels. And when Katie posts an options video, she also has the options sheet that she has regarding the various strategies that fit the analysis. So it's very detailed, very organized. So there's the video posted, there's the strategy review, and then there's the Discord options hour, as she calls it, where you can go in and ask questions. So make sure that if you have an interest in options, learning more about options, even if you're a seasoned option trader, it's always great to hear another experienced, very knowledgeable person go through it. So I would strongly advise it.
Yeah, that's great. We talked about this and back in the days that I was on Tasty Trade doing my shows, and we had one segment that we did that was Quant Meets Tech, which is doing the analysis and then doing the quantitative option analysis. And Katie is great at bringing that all together. So I really encourage you to watch what she brings. She's extremely knowledgeable in both categories of information. So that's it. We're going to wrap this up. Great work on everybody. Great. We had a big crowd in here today, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.
You too, Slim. Take care.
Take care.
Take
Bye.
care, everybody. Bye-bye.